gotta say it. Welcome back. My name is Thomas. I'm here with Allison, David, and Diamond, and we are continuing A Bard's Tale. This is part 2 of this episode. If you're just jumping in now, go back and watch the first one. Stuff is happening. That night, Struana, you dream of flying with a murder of crows, spreading out across all bits of the Feywild, finding shiny, beautiful things, and fluttering back and forth. You find yourself in a bazaar underground, and there is a gem in the eye socket of a skull that is carved with arcane runes that looks shiny and amazing. But you get distracted by a piece of tinfoil next to you, grab that, and fly out through a series of tunnels to just complete flash forward and deposit this with other shiny, beautiful treasures in a shadow attached to nothing. And then the sunlight hits you and your face gets warm and you're awake. Everybody else slept fine.
Like, you ever wake up and you're like startled and disoriented and not really sure where the hell you are for? So she does that. And then takes the minute of panic and then the minute of, right. She just lays there for a minute, 5.
It doesn't fade like the sort of dream you're used to. Stan, drunk by breakfast?
No.
No?
No, he goes down to breakfast, but it's not, not drinking more than usual. I wouldn't say, I don't think breakfast ale is a thing, but it's,
like 3% or something.
Right, yeah. Whatever the breakfast drink of the morning is what he drinks.
All right. It's
offered.
It's bitter earthen spice it's a head rush. Brewed into sort of a syrup.
Well, when in Rome.
Breakfast is basic, and you do see several carts passing out of the mine down a road that wasn't there yesterday. Right, a Teamster caravan.
Well, when everybody's awake and downstairs, Stan says, "Well, we finished this task. What do we do now?"
Struana gets up to find a bathroom. At some point, bladders demand this, so...
There's simple plumbing in the room. Like, the bedroom, not the common room.
Stan, were you saying that over the comm, or were you...
No, I was saying when people came down for breakfast.
Right, when everyone was gathered.
That'd be something he asked, over breakfast.
I'm saying over the comm that I think I need a shower.
Oh, maybe it's too soon to talk about what's next. I don't know. I just don't know what else to do. That he says over the comm since you're walking away.
Is there shower plumbing?
Yeah, there would have to be. Right, they do have non-Fey that work, sleep, and trade there, so that's full accommodations.
I'm gonna, like, deal with hygiene.
Yeah, easy.
Deal with, like,
no dice rolls.
I know. Well, so because there's like these series of things she's starting with her body and then sort of rebuilding what's real to her.
Right.
So we're showering, we're relayering whatever the however the clothing gets layered, putting I'm wearing the glamorous studded leather, but it's not on.
Right.
Like, it's not glamorous. And then, like, taking account of everything that she has and cleaning her short pipes, and, like, this is a chunk of process. So this is the stuff she's going to be in the middle of doing whenever someone else motivates. Because...
ClickClack, how's your morning?
When people come down, they find me in a corner of the bar, on the floor, sleeping on Lovelace like she's a coffee table. Like, away from everyone else, just didn't feel like bothering with the social paradigm of going to bed.
Someone has put a blanket over you and put like set aside a plate of food for Lovelace.
That's cute.
So Stan, this is a turn. Usually it's not. Well, you are more likely to be the one traditionally that is sleeping off in the corner of the tavern.
Right.
But eventually, you guys realize. I assume that Struana is not coming out. Hasn't even thought to come out.
Yeah. Stan goes and knocks on her door. Or knocks on whatever door she's behind that he can tell. You okay?
I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't, like, I'm not here yet. I'm trying. But I think I mean, I can keep doing this for a while, but that's basically there's not going to be an answer to that question. She's just going to keep sounding like that until she stops sounding like that, and then continues sorting and doing the things that she's trying to do. At some point, you're going to hear her voice breaking, but not in a, like, I'm crying way, but like the scratchy throat way.
And through the door, he says, "I just want to go home. I just want to go home. So let's do the next thing and go and get closer to home. You know,
Yeah.
with all that what was those glitter sparkle things? That sounded like a problem that we were supposed to solve."
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
There was another one.
How did we end up being the people who are solving problems?
I don't remember. The Feywild, man. I'm gonna go talk to ClickClack. He writes all that down.
I should ask him when we started being the people who are helping solve. This is good because it's making her look at the timeline and putting back together a narrative, which is a thing that gets her out of this whatever. Ah, my God, these things are as frustrating to be in as they are to like experience externally.
When you get backstairs, back downstairs, you find ClickClack fixing a wobbly table.
It's the one you slept under. You just woke up and like, that's loose.
Like, pulled a screwdriver out of never mind where and just started.
Right before he's even really awake, he's just
Like, clearly has not, like, yawned, stretched, or rubbed his eyes, just...
Long night.
I don't remember.
That's probably for the best.
Whoever does maintenance here is really bad at their job.
you see the chorus behind the bar and go, oh.
Well, not every...
I didn't project that. I was kind of just to myself.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys are the only ones here.
Whoever works here, you suck.
You guys are the only ones in the common room. The work shift has eaten and gone out. The mine is open again, and you are the late breakfast, and nobody else is late. You have definitely gotten the miners back to work.
I would have said that quietly to myself, like I'm muttering.
Okay.
Remember, there's a finger.
Oh,
Right.
I've learned just enough social grace to not scream that people suck.
What he hasn't learned yet is when it's appropriate to scream that people suck.
I'm figuring that out too.
Greater subtlety.
The ClickClack. I know you write everything down. Do you remember why we were doing this and why we were supposed to do those? Maybe one of those two other things.
I go over to my pack, pull out my notes, and like flipping through a phone book, trying to find xylophone just right to the back.
You had, as Knights of the Vale, were asked by different residents and such to do things to solidify the sealiness of your new domain.
That. Next
So nice of you. Trying to. Right, I remember that now. He said. I guess. Ah, this feels so old. He looks a little
like
bad.
35, so just calm down.
I know, losing 15 years all at once. I think it's more psychological than anything.
I know people who get just drug abuse.
And
I mean, frankly speaking, like 20-year-old me, 35. I mean, I'm 34, but almost 35-year-old me. Like, if that happened all at once, like I would be in. Are you kidding? Why does it hurt so much? I don't understand.
Why does everything hurt?
You mean I have arthritis?
To my ankle.
And my knee, and my shoulder, and my wrists. Ugh. I mean, you wouldn't probably have the same repetitive stress injuries, though. It's not like you.
Right.
But
You didn't walk on that old knee injury for 35 or for 15 full years every day, all day, every day.
More.
but you still have like slightly slower brain functions, slightly lower tolerance.
Mechanically, he has not yet crossed into the next age category, but could happen any day.
I mean, it's in terms of the Feywild, he considers himself lucky. 15 years. I mean, that's a long time, but it could have been worse. Feywild is a nasty thing. Can be.
You get the idea that you vaguely remember something you're trying really hard to forget, and it seems like that's when it got swallowed into something cosmic. That time.
So, at whatever point, dear GM,
Yes.
that Struana has like cleaned all of her stuff, put it all back, packed things appropriately. Like, whenever we reach that point, she is going to very stone-faced come down and eat food.
It doesn't. I mean, it's not very long. 15, 20 minutes. When you came here, it's not like you brought luggage.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got a lot of small accoutrements, things like that. He did. ClickClack did.
Right. Well, if you want to come down and clean ClickClack's things, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But
And I have no idea how long cleaning short pipes would take, but I know that it would be a thing she's doing with, like...
It's quick and automatic. You've got the tools to do it.
With dirt.
Specialty brushes. But yeah, it's comforting. It has the appropriate effect. So yeah, 15, 20 minutes, you're done.
Come downstairs. Calories, coffee, couple of good ales. Maybe more than a few.
Okay. How long is it before you leave? Do you leave? Are you making a home at the mine now?
It's not making a home at the mine now. So she comes down. She's going to just not really acknowledge ClickClack or Stan unless they like engage directly with her line of sight. She's going to eat her food at a serial killer walk kind of pace. Drink an amount that is heavy for a dwarf for breakfast. And then I assume if it's bar stools, it's spin around. If not, it's jump down from the bar and then turn around. Like, all of her gear on, shiny, and okay, we need to go. Let's get so we can go home.
Okay.
I spent that entire time fixing things at the bar.
Of course you did. Of course.
Everybody got their process. And they'll wrap up a lunch for you. You leave right before the lunch rush. There's a lunch shift. Dozens of fairies and a few gnomes and dwarves come along. Everybody waves at you as you're headed along. The road takes nearly no time. to get to Bloomhaven. You spent much more time on the way than you are on the way back. The road is straight and paved and well manicured. It only loops and curves when it makes it even nicer. The only interruptions in a straight narrow path are just enough to enjoy. Every few minutes, you're more or less accosted by a cloud or two of pixies that are holding singing flowers from that field that you passed through on the way in, or have some little like pretty nut or something to give you, and just. Anyone speak Sylvan? No, still not. They seem to be just like celebratory and effulgent and super into you guys. And rather quickly, after passing 4 or 5 mining carts, more than it seems like should have been sent. They're full of various grades of gems and ingots and a couple of barrels of refined quicksilver and all manner of things that are headed into Bloomhaven. You pass them along the way, and the little outpost you left is much bigger. It's a little bustling hamlet now. There are several more buildings, many of them now studded with gems.
That was fast.
And where do you head? The Minty Rose? Back to, I don't know, your respective abodes? It's an hour after lunch.
What's the next
lunch?
What's the next quest we want to do? There were 2, right? There was, I remember the one, the swarms of
Shimmerlings.
I'm going to head to the Minty Rose, and I'm going to sit down on a quiet table and open up one of my my bard book.
As soon as you open the door, there are cheers and drinks raised. Gossip and news travels incredibly quickly in the Feywild.
In my so she's been sort of behaving in a like she's you're going through the motions, and the strangers don't know how the wooden that you feel or whatever. But anyone close is going to be able to see that it's like facial expressions are a tick behind, or the like, yeah, hi, how are you? And as soon as you turn away, it's this again.
Right?
No segue.
Whole crowds of them are calling for you to get on stage and tell the story.
I think I'm going to have to roll performance at disadvantage for this, actually.
Okay.
I hate that. I'm very upset about that. Diamond is upset about this.
Every theater person has done exactly that.
Today, I have to fake it. Especially in stage productions, because they'll go for weeks.
That's a 21.
Nice.
So, on maybe literally your worst day, the worst 24-hour period of your life, you still wow the crowd with your least descriptive. they don't know any better. They don't understand what's genuine and not, and what they would notice. You mask with cantrips and illusions and pyrotechnics, and then you bow, get off the stage, and I imagine are back to like.
Yep. Well, and at some point she's trying to find a like safe space moment of privacy to open the bard book and like try to find any info at all about the things that she saw in her dreams.
Okay. As you're pulling the bard book out and going into your own like private green room / manager's office / your own little private space, you look up and there is a gnome there. Gnome size, coloring and proportions different than the gnome you're used to traveling with. He is sprawled languidly along your guest chair. It's clearly been waiting for a minute. And as you're opening it, the book, like earlier, you had queried the masters and things, and the last entry is a reply to your book from Smenkeg Gnebibniet.
That's a cool name.
And telling you that I shall be by anon, ready or not, here I come. And in your query of potential masters earlier, like there was very little on the Feywild. There were a couple of various masters that didn't respond at all. This one is listed as basically unknown if active. Like maybe not. You could hit up a history check if you wanted.
$16.
Smankeg Gnebibniet is kind of a myth. No one really communicates with him, nor have they for hundreds of years. He was one of the founding members of the Bardic College on Angelwing Isle. He was one of the ones who sat on the council as things were getting decided and the rules were getting made. And not long after, he abandoned the material plane and is said to wander the plains ever since. But nobody has any real, he doesn't produce work.
So,
he doesn't report in.
languidly sitting here. I mean, I can probably figure this out, but she, that, not quite rudely, but also not super polite. Who are you?
I'm your appointment. And he points at the book. Smankeg.
Schlankeg?
Smankeg.
Smankeg? Man, Thomas, I swear I can hear you say it in my head, but Smankeg Gabuzniak?
Let me type it out for you, because you did see it written.
I don't know if that's going to help, but we'll find out.
If you speak Gnomish, Struana can hack it.
It's written. I understand what it means. What does it translate to?
Essentially, the one whose quest was fulfilled by codifying Bardic lore forever, and it seems like there's a ... like there's more name, that nobody ever says, because that's just gnomish.
So, having read that, I'm going to, her flair for the dramatic doesn't leave just because she's freaking out, I guess. Oh, the one whose quest is complete by codifying bardic lore forever.
Yeah, that one.
Sorry. This is...
You did put out a call for masters, right? You're Struana Hardjaw. I assume the person announcing you on stage wasn't shining us all on.
They were not. That was not my best performance. This is not a good year. This is not a good day. My sense of time, for example.
What's not to love about the Feywild? It was a great story, and I get that it was fresh. But don't worry. When you do your recital, you'll have plenty of time to impress me. I assume that's not why you came to the Feywild, though.
Diamond's panicking. Like, wait. Alright. How do I do this?
With style.
Not the worst suggestion ever. I need time. I know that I want to talk to you. But I'm not here right now.
I totally get that. Would you like me to fix you up so you're ready?
Is that a possible thing?
Yeah. Magic.
Okay. Like there's the what's the worst that can happen? She's going from dissociation to recklessness. Fun little journey here.
A moment as I look up all the things. 1 action, 33, verbal somatic. So, Smankeg looks at you and says, I'll tell you what. Look into my eyes, take a deep breath, and I'm about to, and makes a little motion with his hand like a little spiral, and you sort of think it, and then he recites perfectly, word for word, exactly the version of events that you gave without any of the emotional fuckery, without the pain and anguish, without the emotional charge, and that is now, and I need you to make a charisma save. Oh, I'm sorry, a wisdom save.
5?
And that is now your memory of the event.
No emotional fuckery, but just
a flat description of events without emotional charge. Your memory of the event itself has been modified.
I'm sincerely.
It's like I told it to you.
Yeah, you got hit with you got hit with a spell.
I'm sincerely curious, Thomas, and I know that Struana would not know this, but is are the events that she remembers also the true things that happened?
As true as it was when you performed it on stage, he gives a memorized word-by-word account of the events exactly the way you just performed it.
Okay.
So flat, a little stale, no heart in it.
So the thing that happened was the inside of ClickClack, or that, what was the timekeeper guy?
You mean Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
And then after he takes about a minute to explain this to you in rapid fire, and you speak Gnomish, right?
I've been trying to pick some up from ClickClack as an ongoing thing so that we can communicate more effectively, but I do not speak Gnomish.
He starts in Gnomish, and when he sees you're not following, he quickly flips over to Dwarven.
Okay.
And yeah, it was within 24 hours. Lasted no more than 10 minutes. Change the memory of the details. Language, mindfulness of the gaps.
Near as I can tell, you got it right.
Yep. And then he just looks at you and is like, better?
Yes. Yes.
Modify memory. You'll pick it up. I mean, if you want to.
It's like the colors returning, having a whole Pleasantville moment. Only with less racial tension.
So far.
Murders. Fewer murders.
Condensing long years of psychotherapy into 6 seconds of of magic.
You don't have to have long years of psychotherapy to implant false memories, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. No, I mean to like take the emotional charge out of a traumatic situation and be able to be purely analytical about it. Just throwing that out there. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So, speaking of the trauma, I clicked on my player's imaginary friends. He says, I will be in town for a little while. This place is developing nicely, and hey, I kind of like it here.
We have a couple of events we need to do. We've got a Shimmerling swarm to deal with. It's a swarm, right?
Mega swarm, even.
A what?
A mega swarm, even. It's a swarm of swarms.
Shimmerling mega swarm. We have to deal with the hag, and then we need to go to the Merkroot trade moot. So we've got a few sort of things. So depending on where you think the best story is, you're welcome to join us.
Oh no, you're going to tell me stories. That is, if you'd like me to sign your book.
That's fair.
But perhaps I'm up for an adventure if it's particularly interesting. It's not why I came.
I will need a little bit of time to prepare to give you a recital, obviously. Thomas, what's the appropriate amount of time to prepare for a recital? Struana knows this. I don't friggin' know.
If it would impress him if you put it together within the week, it would be reasonable if you got it in within 20, 30 days. I mean,
what kind of rolls do I need to make to get it together within the week? Having already done this once.
It would still be performance. I might up I would up the DC a little bit depending on how much you were rushing it. I'd just make it harder. So it's the same roll.
So it's roll really well or roll really, really well? Is that essentially?
Yeah, and no matter what, even if you knock it out of the park, because the difficulty's higher, it won't be as shiny a success as if you were well prepared. You know, I do some scaling by how much above the DC you get.
Can we split the difference and make it 2 weeks? Less than 20 days, more than 7, essentially. Okay. So I'm going for a little bit impressive, but not recklessly impressive. Still enough time to prepare something good and show up. and showing off.
Then I can't wait.
Your mom is
By
back.
I can't wait, I mean I will enjoy all of your booze for free in the meantime, and eagerly await your return.
Struana cheerfully eye rolls and farts.
Struana, no one passes the first time. Fair warning.
Sounds like a
But thankfully, you all make the same mistakes. It's a byproduct of your schooling, I'm afraid. But I can't wait to correct it in you, as I have in select others through the ages, most of whom have forgotten about me.
Ooh. Shoot my fingers, and I want to, like, there's a spell. New spell.
So, introduce me to your friends. I'm
Absolutely.
new here.
So this will probably be creepy as heck for you guys. Where did the two of you go?
We're back at our home base thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have returned.
I'm in my lab recharging everything and
Okay.
doing equipment refresh.
So ClickClack first, because I'm assessing that Stan needs more time to rest first.
Okay.
Yeah, Stan is, I mean, he's not being as social, and he's hanging out in his room more. But he's coming out for food and chatting with them.
Are you up in your tower?
Oh god, that's right.
This would be the first time you've gone and spent any time there.
Yeah, I should go check that out.
You gotta look-see. There's like a training, whole training room in the main floor, a brewery, a shrine to Moradin, some smith and forging tools, and the top level is just very Spartan sleeping quarters for you, just the way you like it.
That's I'm gonna be sad when I have to move this tower. It's store.
It's only an hour or so before you hear someone approaching. She you hear Trella humming as she approaches your door from her door just across the courtyard.
Well, that should be interesting. He'll come down to meet her.
She's overjoyed to see you. Welcome home. Are you? How did it go? Everything fine? And you're still in one piece, so I like that. Oh wait, Stan, what happened to your hair?
Well, I'm afraid it's more than my hair. This one stole life from me. There's something terribly evil in the bottom of that mine.
She is instantly super sympathetic. She goes in, just immediately start not quite mothering you, but steps inside, grabs your shoulders, takes you to a chair. She is, you remember immediately, supernaturally strong. and you are placed gently in a simple position. Like she sets up some food for you and gets you all taken care of. Like sits down and just like keeps encouraging you to talk, and that's it.
He talks a little. Yeah, he talks some about what happened in the mine, in the giant, the eye bigger than the sun, bigger than anything, and God, where did my life? I feel like my years of my life were sucked into some cosmic void for who knows what.
Stan, do you want me to find a way to get your youth back?
I don't know. I mean, it would be. I don't enjoy having these easy years ripped, but I mostly want to finish what we started.
She sits down next to you and like grabs your hand in both vertical, like gets right up in your space, eye to eye, and says, I can do that for you. I can find that. Something to give you those years back.
How could you do that?
This is the Feywild. I've been a knight here for a long time. Anything that ends up as a legend in your realm started out as something in the Feywild. Every epic love is just an echo of something even more epic here. And the Fountain of Youth is not that unusual to find, just wandering around the place. Stan, I could do that for you. I would.
You would look for the Fountain of Youth for me?
Yes.
What the ass?
But not so much to accept if it's offered. Stan, I want to spend a lot of time with you, and 15 years, one way or the other. Maybe it's not so much to most other Eladrin, but I'd like to see you nonetheless.
That's appreciate that sentiment. I like that idea. And I'm not staying in the Feywild.
Nobody ever thinks they are, Stan. But you're here for now, and that's what matters. Hey, Stan. You want to go feel young for about a half hour? You don't have to leave the armor on.
Yeah, let's do that.
And
Big as luck.
That's easier than talking.
She gets it. She's there for you. ClickClack, you fairly quickly get all your gear recharged. Anything you do?
I mean, honestly, I don't believe it would happen that quickly. I have a lot of stuff to replace and an air tank to recharge and trick arrows to build.
And the workshop is set up perfectly to basically double your time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the perfect workshop. You've done a little bit of tinkering before. This is the first time you've really like reset after an adventure, come back and set all your stuff back up. It's remarkably quick.
All right.
I mean, still like an hour or so. Maybe a little longer.
Wasn't Struana headed to meet me
Yep.
to visit? You probably find me doing target practice.
Hey, ClickClack! I brought a new friend.
I've built basically a shooting gallery for myself, and just with borderline impossible shots.
And
Right.
like rollicking Celtic music. And a green dress. No? Okay.
No.
Alright.
How does that help?
It's the rhythm. The gnome that's with her is a forest gnome rather than your proud rock gnome heritage. He comes from that other branch of gnomishness.
And that's okay.
And that's great. The forest needs gnomes too. He wears like all of his fashion is right out of like ancient gnomish fashion technology. Nobody else would really catch it, but he's clearly dressed in the style of long ago. Looks at Struana.
I said, ClickClack, I brought a friend. And once ClickClack acknowledged, I will introduce him. I'm not going to try and butcher his name on camera again. No.
I was trying to
Keyword
make you say
smash.
it.
This is
Awesome.
style.
Smankeg. Knepniet.
Of the New
Pancake. Yet.
The more you try, the more likely it's going to be you swear in Gnomish.
There are lots of swears in Gnomish. Very specific swears. So, he begins to introduce you with his full name in Gnomish, and it's very like the name is in an old dialect even of how it goes, and this goes on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. For ClickClack, this is just like, oh, we're doing a formal introduction. It's been a long time. So basically,
I'm gonna go find
brief-
the fridge and make a sandwich and then come back in, like kind of.
rude. A brief history of his life as a rising young bard in the time of Dragon War and raising up to tame magic and become part of a cabal that locked it into its form forever, etc., etc., etc. It's maybe a little bit shown off. A lot of people contributed to that name. There's a lot of like signatures to the name.
Thomas,
Yes.
in your world, what is proper courtesy for me about his name? Like, do I call him by his full name out of respect, or is there a shorter version, or what?
Smankeg is the quick name.
I didn't know like if it's rude or courteous to say his full name to him.
No. If you repeat it back, it's not so bad. But gnomes understand that there's stuff that needs to get done. You only need the. But at the end of it, he does do the like proper, the super proper, like old school weird proper transition into basically and you.
I tell him my name.
All right. The
Fade
full
back.
accounting.
Fade back. But,
Right.
humans call me ClickClack. This is Lovelace. Good afternoon.
My pleasure.
I'm like sipping some coffee at this point.
Yeah. Some coffee you grew that morning.
You must be the archer from the story.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well done. Well
I
done.
literally have a bow in my hand right now.
Oh, yes. I might be the smartest gnome in the Feywild. Present company accepted. I see a fine workshop down the hill.
Down the hill.
Under the hill, under the tree. Here's pointing downward. It's an anachronism. You talk funny.
I thought we were in my workshop. They came to see me.
Yeah. that is-
Okay, I thought you were... Oh, the archery range is in the workshop. Oh, okay, I thought you had it set up around the tree or something. Got it. Now that we're all on the same imaginary page. So it's just your...
We all agree what didn't happen.
I will be conducting Struana's mastery recital in about 2 weeks' time. Her first one, anyway. First one that matters, I'm sure.
2 weeks?
I
Oh, sorry, I'm not there.
We'll find out.
Did you hear something?
I mean, how bad should it be? The last time there were just a bunch of demons that suddenly appeared and tried to kill us and everyone we knew.
I thought you already did this.
Me too. Struana knows better than to say that.
So, what? Why?
The first, I don't remember, Thomas. I know there's a reason. I know we've gone over it, but I don't actually remember what the heck it is.
This is for you to progress in your career as a bard. There is a system of tracking down masters and things. Now you got all the ones from the Delta,
All at once.
all in one fell swoop due to machinations by Herod and Wildeblank. But there are still many to get if you're going to be acknowledged broadly.
True Master Bard.
Yeah.
Great.
And that's part of the deal. You get druids, I get eccentrics.
The druids didn't make me audition every 2 weeks.
You probably just didn't notice.
No, I noticed everything.
Oh, it's a handy trick.
He does. He's not particularly prone to hyperbole either. Coffee?
He takes a mild, polite interest in your work, enough to very subtly get you to start working again, and then just sort of makes a smooth goodbye.
I recognize what he's doing, and I just go along with it because I don't actually care. Oh, I
So
guess
you're gonna put a bunch of effort into the thing that's easy to get me to. Okay.
Yeah. Enjoy your sweating, dumbass.
So, shall we meet Stan the human paladin?
Delightful.
Paladin of Morden. Wait. Morden. Wait.
Mordenkainen.
I always screw up your god's name.
No, you got it.
Awesome.
Morden.
Okay. Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Where is
Hooray.
Stan?
Isn't the tisk in the tower?
Feeling young again.
Feeling young again.
Do you have a sock on the doorknob or anything, Dan?
A
No.
pulp.
No. But
There's probably a tender goodbye that you catch as you're coming up the way as Trella Goodmane slips out across the courtyard to her castle that way. her massive floral white tower. Stan, you see these two approach.
hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty okay, Stan. Let me introduce you to Smankig, Negibnyet. I gotta assume Struana's better.
Nailed it. Yes.
In that same way that ClickClack has better aim than I actually do,
Right.
you're better at names than...
So Struana nails it, makes the perfect introduction. Smankeg Nebnibinyet.
I'm Stan Smith. I'm a Paladin of Morden. What?
His name, and then I'm Stan Smith.
You know, I think if, as a gnome, that was totally in character.
Oh. His name sounds like a fell creature casting a curse on someone and they have an aneurysm at the same time. And you're just like, Stan Smith, hi.
I still like your pharmacist.
Right, in Gnomish, that's barely a baby's name.
Like, you're a pharmacist to Latina patients with 15 names, particularly Mexican Latina, right? Very quick, 5 names in a row. Okay, let me look that up for you. What's your date of birth?
Stan Smith. Again, he's charming, pleasant. Lord of the Hill, I see. I had the opportunity to meet the good lady while you were out. She speaks very highly of you.
You couldn't have made that into a pun, really?
You're the one whose performance is being judged.
Me?
He directs that to Struana.
Okay.
That was me.
So,
No, Stan, I'm sure your performance was just fine. No, I'm here to continue the tests of mastery for your friend Struana. A few weeks will be a recital.
a few weeks.
Looks like you're very cozy.
A few weeks? I thought we were leaving. I thought we were going to go do the next thing.
We can go do the next thing.
Sure, she can prepare on the road. I'm sure it won't impact your performance in the slightest.
Real stories are excellent inspiration.
I see.
What is this? Who is this man cat? They stands looking at you.
Do you remember when? What's the halfling's name, Thomas?
Paladin.
Paladin, thank you. Do you remember when Paladin got all of these different bard masters together and I had to do a great big recital and then there were demons?
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Basically that, again.
Probably with demons. Right? I mean,
it's the way our luck runs. I just assume it's going to go down in flames in some way, but that certainly hasn't stopped us from trying at any point.
Right. But why now? Why?
Because
Why, dear Paladin? Because I'm here.
I don't mean to put a damper on your career, but I just lost 15 years of my life. I just want to eat.
Feels like 10 now.
It's a performance. That's the thing I need to do. Not many bards get the chance to trial with a bard who's essentially disappeared into mythology.
Have I now? Huh.
So, I'm gonna cast legend lore on him right now, because now is more fun.
Okay.
Let's go.
Tell me about what legend lore gets you.
I just had it right there. So, name or describe. Right. He's right there. That guy. A brief summary of the significant lore about the thing or person or place you named. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. If it's not legendary importance, if it isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information. The more information you already have about the thing, the more precise and detailed the information you receive is. Everything is accurate, but it can be couched in figurative language.
Okay. Cryptic and stuff.
It can be cryptic, but it's true.
In this case, much of his life was once the subject of legend, so you get lots, and you already put some stuff together. So without boring everyone, the life and times of Smankeg began at the end of the last Dragon War. His parents were soldiers in some dragon army, lost to time, but there are tales that they fought in those wars. He came up mastering strange new types of magic and clustering together with little pockets of humanity that was left, or humanity of surface dwellers that were left after the war, and spent about 100 years collecting art and history and culture from desolate ruins from this massive war, and ferrying it back to Angelwing Isle, this place that he discovered some druids had kept more or less much less damaged than the rest of the world. Or some wizards. I might have said druids, but wizards had kept much less damage than the rest of the world, and because of some accidents of magical geography, he was able to build what essentially became the Bardic Knowledge Network. Everything that book of yours accesses is because of what he started. He famously disagreed with many of the decisions made by the folks, but he is why the Bardic College is separate. He constantly railed against the hunting of mages that practiced magic that wasn't approved. He didn't like the idea of approved magic. He found it limiting to the spirit, and just the idea was unwelcome to him. Eventually was declared renegade, disappeared, and then the political forces that got him declared were deposed, sometime later, and it was cleared up, and that part was generally erased from the history. But there was a minute where he was not welcome in the material plane, but he also just never came back. There have been reports throughout the last several hundred years of people making contact with him in various planes, mostly the Feywild, but nothing that's been really confirmed. You've never heard of anybody getting his mark.
So, a foreshortened version of that is what I'm going to say to Stan.
Okay.
Like, as by way of introduction, like, who's this guy? Well, this is how he fits into all these other things, and why it's really important that I impress him. Also, would be cool. You know, feather, caps.
Yeah. He just sighs. Okay. Sounds good. Let's, do you guys want to come in? I don't know. What else we got going on?
No, I like it back at the tavern, if you don't mind. Unless you have anything special in there.
Mostly ale.
Yeah. I like the stronger stuff.
Alright.
He sets back down along the path, leaving Struana there for a moment.
So are we gonna head towards Shimmerling's? Or,
Yeah. I think a day to be here and gather our gear, get anything else we need to, and then, yeah. I want to get it done, and I have, in a sense, been to the Merc route, trade route now, so we should be able to get there.
Oh, when did that happen?
I tell Stan about my dream.
Oh. And the Feywild keeps just being weirder.
Yeah, I think it's making us weirder, too.
Yeah.
So, in 2 weeks, let's be surreal.
Yep.
Oh, right. I gotta do a thing to get ready, Stan. I'll leave you to it. Do you need anything?
Nope. Good luck.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Bye!
Stan glumly shuts the door to his giant iron tower, or giant dark adamantine tower.
Yeah.
Alright. Your friend always that interesting?
I think we're all having a really hard time after the last thing that happened. Well, I'm having less of one, but...
It's hard to begin to understand your real place in the universe, isn't it? You brush up against something cosmic. It changes you. I get it.
We need Stan to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he'll be fine.
I have a bunny to find.
Ah, you need a hand?
Sure.
Alright. Didn't expect you to accept. Give me a drink first.
You offered, like, okay. Social creature. Can I do this with you? Yes. I don't know how that was confusing.
Good.
I'm having a hard time remembering that Struana's okay now, because that is so weird. Ah.
He did the same thing to me.
What?
He did the same thing to me.
Right?
I was grieving, and he's like, "No, you're not anymore."
Still
That's
can't do.
not a normal process.
This is D&D. There's magic for everything. You could say no.
So,
So,
happy drink and find familiar ritual.
yeah.
Happy drink and
Does it after the minute or the 1 hour of casting? It's you again sort of like pick up the trail, and is right in his little sleeping basket in the Minty Rose. And as soon as you get there, it begins to reform, and you hear the echoes of everything you love dies, everything you love dies, and then it reforms. It looks up in your eyes and says, "Because you're selfish," and then goes to sleep. Ooh!
I mean, you're not wrong.
Wow. The warlock ones are mean, aren't they? Says Smarkag or Smenkag, and that is where we will close tonight's session.
You're nice to me. I don't know what your problem is.
Good one. Right, yay for weird methods of emotional processing. I gave this guy modify memory for a completely different reason, but since it was handy. Oh, I forgot to mention it on camera, but I will remember. In your legend lore, you would also find out that Smankig, not really nice. Like, he was ruthless, fairly like vicious. Like the politics with him would get dirty, and in the field had no compunction with killing.
Okay.
So
That's fun.
remind me to remind you of that next week.
Okay.
Good times.
You gonna talk us out if you like what you see at life?
Oh shit, you're right. God, skip it for a couple of weeks and I forget everything. So this has been GameBreakers. If you like what you see, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you want to see it get better, we have a Patreon for that. All the details are in the doobly-doo. Meanwhile, thanks for game.